Hey everyone, and welcome back to another news alert. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and thank you so much for tuning into Boyd News. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more updates like this, and feel free to support me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Links are in the description below the video. Alright, so we have some very big news to share with you regarding potential escalation involving the U.S. military in Africa. U.S. President Donald Trump just came out with a True Social post just a few hours ago saying he was called on the Department of War to prepare for a potential military operation in the African country of Nigeria. Take a look at this new story here on your screen. Trump orders the Pentagon to prepare for military action in Nigeria. The Department of War has been ordered to prepare for a potential rapid operation in Nigeria if the government fails to act against armed groups accused of targeting Christian communities. Okay, so I think it's becoming very clear now why US President Donald Trump in the recent past has decided to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. We're starting to hear a lot of reports of potential US military action all over the place. More recently, inside of Venezuela, we could possibly see some military action or strikes being carried out over there. Now we've got information today that Trump is ordering the Department of War to get ready for strikes inside of Nigeria now as well. So this is crazy news. Now, a little bit of backstory information on this. Apparently, this is due to what's been going on for more than a decade now inside of Nigeria. To my understanding, thousands of Christians are being killed over there, mostly on the southern side of the country. And apparently, according to Trump, he's claiming these are radical Islamists. There's lots of reports that talk about this online. So more than 50,000 of them have actually been slaughtered over the last 10 years based on some reports I was seeing. So I'll kind of show you guys that information. Now, I will state, personally, I'm not super well versed with how things go inside of Nigeria or inside of Africa for that matter. We talk a lot about Ukraine and Russia here on this channel. More recently, we've been talking about some other events as well. So I'm going to try my best to dive in and show you guys kind of what's going on here with this situation. Real quick, we're going to hop on over here to a mainstream news report called Crux. And it says Trump declares Nigeria country of particular concern amid violence targeting Christians. This coming out today, November 1st, 2025. You can see the date right here. And briefly, we're going to go over just a few paragraphs. U.S. President Donald Trump announced Friday that he is putting the West African nation of Nigeria on the countries of particular concern list, a major step that comes in wake of dire warnings from international observer organizations and human rights advocates about the violent persecution of Christians in the country, which is Africa's most populous. And it says, quote, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria, Trump wrote Friday on his True Social platform. Thousands of Christians are being killed, he also wrote, and radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. Maintained by the U.S. State Department, the countries of particular concern list includes nations the U.S. has determined are engaging in violations of religious freedom of various kinds and to varying degrees. The list includes China, Myanmar, North Korea, Russia, Pakistan, among others. Speaking in Rome late last month on the sidelines of the Aid to the Church in Need 2025 World Report on Religious Freedom in the World, the Vatican's Secretary of State, Pietro Parolin, acknowledged the suffering of Christians in Nigeria, but said the situation there is not a religious conflict, but rather more a social one. For example, disputes between herders and farmers. Okay, so as you can see, kind of based on this information coming out from yesterday, Trump is claiming that there's a major attack onto Christians over there. Thousands are being killed, is what he's saying. These are radical Islamists that are carrying out attacks onto people. They are responsible for this mass slaughter on these Christians down here. And this is what Trump believes he needs to do, is to take action. If the government over there is not going to protect the Christians, the U.S. will with their military, is kind of what he's saying. And now I want to show you exactly what Trump was talking about on True Social, and this report is going to talk about that. This is on The Guardian today. Trump threatens to go into Nigeria, guns ablazing over attacks on Christians. U.S. President says he ordered the Pentagon to begin planning for action without mentioning Muslim persecution. So the Muslims, there's a huge Muslim population also inside of Nigeria. From what I understand, they live on the northern side of the country. This article will kind of talk about that. And it says Donald Trump on Saturday said he had ordered the Pentagon to begin planning for potential military action in Nigeria as he stepped up his criticism that the government was failing to rein in the persecution of Christians in the West African country. And it says, quote, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Trump posted on social media, I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attacked our cherished Christians. Okay, so major threat to the Nigerian government that the U.S. military will go in there, and he's saying they will wipe out and go in guns a-blazing, wipe out the Islamic terrorists that are carrying out these acts and attacks onto the Christians that are living over there. And it says here the warning of possible military action came after Nigeria's president Bola Ahmed Tinubu earlier on Saturday pushed back on Trump, announcing the day before that he was designating the West African country a country of particular concern for allegedly failing to rein in the persecution of Christians. We just talked about that right now. In a social media statement on Saturday, Tinubu said that the characterization of Nigeria as a religiously intolerant country does not reflect the national reality. And he said, quote, religious freedom and tolerance have been a core tenet of our collective identity and shall remain so, Tinubu said. Nigeria opposes religious persecution and does not encourage it. Nigeria is a country with constitutional guarantees to protect citizens of all faiths. Trump on Friday said Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria and radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. Okay, so it seems like the Nigerian president trying to cover up for this and say, hey, you know, we're doing the best we can to protect everybody. And he says Nigeria is a country with constitutional guarantees to protect citizens of all faiths. Okay, that's what he said. Continuing on, Trump's comment came weeks after the U.S. Senator Ted Cruz urged Congress to designate Africa's most populous country a violator of religious freedom with claims of Christian mass murder. Nigeria's population of 220 million people is split almost equally between Christians and Muslims. The country has long faced insecurity from various fronts, including the Boko Haram extremist group, which seeks to establish its radical interpretation of Islamic law and has also targeted Muslims it deems not Muslim enough. Attacks in Nigeria have varying motives. There are religiously motivated attacks targeting both Christians and Muslims, clashes between farmers and herders over dwindling resources, communal rivalries, secessionist groups, and ethnic clashes. While Christians are among those targeted, analysts say the majority of victims of armed groups are Muslims in Nigeria's Muslim-majority north, where most attacks occur. So apparently some analysts say that Muslims are attacked just as much as Christians, even though Christians are also being targeted. So maybe that's why some of these reports talk about the fact that they're trying to kind of protect everybody here. But obviously, Trump is concerned for the Christians over here that have been targeted for many years now. Finally, it says here, Kimi Ebienfa, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, reiterated the commitment of Nigeria to protect citizens of all religions. The federal government of Nigeria will continue to defend all citizens, irrespective of race, creed, or religion, Ebienfa said in a statement on Saturday. Like America, Nigeria has no option but to celebrate the diversity that is our greatest strength. Nigeria was placed in the country of particular concern list by the U.S. for the first time in 2020 over what the State Department called systematic violations of religious freedom. The designation, which did not single out attacks on Christians, was lifted in 2023 in what observers saw as a way to improve ties between the countries before the then Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit. So thanks for hanging out with me there. That was a lot of information, but it really explains what's going on over here, these attacks on these Christian communities. Trump obviously wants to protect the Christians over there. And there was actually some reports, I believe he's even saying this is considered like a genocide, just horrible attacks on Christian communities, lots of people being killed over here, unfortunately. And I've got one more thing to share with you guys real quick before we get you out of here. We're going to hop it over here to another report just real quick. And it says from Vatican News, over 50,000 Christians killed in Nigeria by Islamist extremists. According to the report, Martyred Christians in Nigeria issued by Inter-Society over the past 14 years, at least 52,250 Nigerian Christians have been brutally murdered at the hands of Islamist militants. And it says here over 50,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria since the outbreak of the Boko Haram Islamist insurgency, in 2009. newly released report published by a Nigerian non-governmental organization has revealed. So this report actually came out. It says down here, April 17, 2023. Okay, so several years ago, 2 years ago, is when this report came out, talking about the fact that over 50,000 Christians were being killed over here by Islamist extremists. Okay, so this has been going on for about a decade and a half now and is still continuing. And this is why Trump is calling on the government over there to get things under control, protect these Christian communities from being attacked by these Islamist extremists, excuse me. If not, the U.S. military will get involved. And according to Trump today with that True Social post, he looks to be very serious about this, and they're going to come in swiftly and very hard to start striking these groups over here that are attacking these communities. So crazy news, guys. Just wanted to do my best to give you some of the information out of this story. And we'll continue to follow that. If we get some updates on this, I'll let you guys know. But looks like we could possibly see some action over here also inside of Africa in the country of Nigeria. So let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.